everyone, I thought I'd give you a refresher on how to use my downloadable printable worksheets, and this is the new Bouncy Christmas collection. And this set in particular has two sizes of tracing templates on every page. Usually my worksheets are divided into large brush pens and or small brush pens. And this you get a big bang for your buck because you get both sizes of brush pens to practice with. So there are 50 pages and about 55 words total. The list is on my website, but the great thing about it is you get helpful hints, you get a blank practice page, and people ask me what kind of paper should they use to print. So I wanted to just address a really good option here. So this is regular copy paper. It is a little bit rough. If you know anything about your dream pens or other brush pens, you don't use them on rough paper. So you grab your large brush pens and you take this sheet of paper, or a couple of them, after you print them out on your regular copy paper. And I just put this aside. You don't work in a big bundle of paper. You just work with a couple of sheets. You want a flat surface. And then I'm going to take my KellyCreates tracing pad and a piece of tracing paper out of this. So tracing paper, especially my KellyCreates tracing paper, is super smooth. And it's excellent for brush pens. It won't damage or fray them. So you just basically put the tracing paper on top. I don't secure mine because I like to maximize how much I'm going to use it. So that means, if I'll just zoom in here, you can see I will not put it right on top at this corner. I will put it down below close to the word so I can use as much of the tracing paper as possible. And then I hold it in place with my other hand. So you can use either side of the brush pen or other large pen. I'm going to use the smaller side here. And what you do is you just simply trace. Now, where do you start and stop? You see these dotted lines here? If you read the instructions, it says start at the dot for each separate stroke. So remember, every stroke is separate. Even when you're writing words, it's not like handwriting. And then you stop at the arrow and lift your pen. So I'll just take this off so that you can see very clearly. You see this dot, you start there and you follow along and you don't stop until you get to the arrow. You get to the arrow, you lift your pen. So let's put the tracing paper back on so you can see how this looks. Close up. I'll have to hold it up here so it doesn't slip. Okay, so let's lightly go up, lightly push, release, come up, thin pressure, push down, release pressure, and I'm following that arrow. And then I'm going to stop at the arrow and lift up my pen. I'm starting at the dot now. And so I'll put down my pen, up, push, release, and come up again. I'll stop there, or you could actually close your oval. Sometimes I leave them open for this bouncy style. Next is I put my pen tip down at the dot. I lightly go around, push down that thick downstroke, release pressure, come up, push down. Do you see the arrow? No. I'm going to keep on going and then stop at that arrowhead. Put my pen down on the dot, lightly go up, push, release, climb up with a thin line and push down. So you can see through the tracing paper where your thick and thin lines are. Stop, think about it, put my pen down at the dot, lightly go up, push, release pressure, and exit to the right, stop, pick up my pen. And now it's time for the T. I start up here, push down, release pressure, and exit. And then I follow the dotted line to cross my T. Well, I'll follow it properly. Okay, so your next examples for tracing do not have the dotted lines. You can refer above to see and remember where you start and stop. And that way you'll actually kind of figure out how to write your words by not having the tracing dots on every single word on the page. You have to, you know what, when it comes to learning brush lettering and calligraphy, you have to work at it and really try to use your memory. Okay, so let's look. We go to the bottom of the page. I'm just going to move my paper down here, and I will grab a small brush tip pen. Let's stick with the green. This is the KellyCreates multicolor small brush tip pen in Sage. It's a little light, so I hope you can see it. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Okay, I'll move this paper here, and there we go. Okay, so it's the same idea. I don't have the dots, so I can look above, and I'll go up, push, follow those thick and thin strokes, and push down, release, and exit. And then by looking at that very first example that I did with the dotted lines and arrows, I know when to lift my pen and stop and go to the next stroke. Remember, you're not working with letters, you're working with strokes. See how I stop there? So the second part of the N, release and exit, is separate. We don't think of letters, we think of strokes. There you have it. So I hope you can pick up this set of worksheets. I think you'll learn a lot with it, and also just at this time of year, have some time to breathe, write, and relax. Now, I almost forgot to tell you that after you finish your tracing, I do want you to take out your super smooth practice paper and then practice those words, because if you're not doing that, you're really not going to see much improvement unless you push yourself to practice without the tracing. So I'll just put down, this is my line paper pad, and then show you what I mean by not tracing. So I just did the Advent word, and now I'm going to write it, and this time I have no tracing. And I think because I have muscle memory and I've practiced a lot, I can remember how to write it and where to start and stop. I'm not going to forget about that. I'm going to remember all the things I learned while tracing. And remember, it doesn't have to be exact to what you've just traced. As long as you get the transitions correct, and also, your thick and thin strokes. So let's take a peek at my brush script there, and I seem to be pretty close to what I was practicing.